What's up guys, Spiritual Lemonade back with another video. We got a brand new vinyl video. This is everything I bought in the month of June. Obviously it's July now. The reason I wanted to wait to make this video is because I only had a few records, maybe like 5 records before I left on vacation, and my vacation is now over, and I also on vacation was expecting to go to a few record stores and buy stuff. So I wanted to wait until I had everything that I bought in June. So I have quite a bit here now. I will run through everything. I went to 3 different stores. So I got the stuff that I had in my area that I got at my local record shop. And then we're going to go through the 2 other ones that I went to in New Jersey, which is where I was on vacation because I'm from that area. I was born in Pennsylvania. I have a lot to say about those 2 record stores, but we're going to go into the first one. We're going to try and speed run through some of these because not everyone needs a long, in-depth kind of thing. But we have Boston's album, Boston, the self-titled album from the 80s. This was an instant cop. I had gone back and listened to this a couple weeks ago at work, and I've never listened to this entire album for, like, beginning to end, but I knew almost every single song on this project just because it's played on the radio so much. My dad specifically likes this kind of music. So I'm glad to have this on my collection. Next up we have a Kanye West album. This was also at my local record shop, and there were quite a few Kanye albums as well as like his Vultures albums, which I was pretty shocked at. Usually the hip-hop section isn't super extensive there, but they had a lot of Kanye, so I figured why not get College Dropout. I'm sorry if there's a glare, I don't know how to fix that, but yeah, it has All Falls Down and Jesus Walks, some classic songs. It's on a standard black as well. I was happy to get that for my collection. Next one is Sgt. Pepper and the Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. And I will say I'm a huge fan of the Beatles, usually specifically just from like the 60s. This one is a little later, I believe, in their career. Maybe it's towards the end of the 60s. Not the biggest fan of this album, but I know that it is a really well-known and critically acclaimed album, so I figured to add this to the collection, even though it's not my favorite. This was also 180 grams, so usually, I mean, I don't think there's much of a difference, but some people say there's a difference in the way it sounds, and it was also unopened, so I was like, might as well get it, so I got that. Next up we have Electric Light Orchestra and their album Discovery. You guys would probably know, I mean, the most well-known one is Don't Bring Me Down, but they actually have a lot of really good songs, even outside of just this album here. But even on this album, this is just a classic that you could throw on, and just, it's a vibe. I really like this album, and I'm glad. It's another 80s, I think, maybe late 70s album. I'm pretty sure the 80s, though. And the last one, I didn't get this at my local record shop. I ordered this online way before this album came out. I could make a whole video just on this vinyl specifically, because there's a lot of things to talk about around it, but I got the Carter 6. I actually kind of enjoyed this album more than a lot of people, it seems like, on the internet. You can watch my reaction to it. I made a whole video on it, and that was my genuine reaction. Like, I really enjoyed Peanuts to an Elephant more than a lot of other people. That's like the worst song on the album, according to pretty much everyone. But I enjoyed it, and I was excited to get the vinyl because I got it on pre-order, and it was an exclusive purple color. It's hard to tell. I don't know why the lighting is so like off today, but maybe if I take it out, it's on like a really cool looking purple. Yeah, you still can't tell. The lighting's terrible. I'm still getting my setup back to the way it was. But it was pretty disappointing because not only is this, like, the album wasn't the best and it's not like a good one to have in the collection, it also is not even the actual album. It is pretty much 4 or 5 of the songs that were on the album, and then 4 that didn't even make the album that were still really good tracks. But I was hoping for like at least a song with Bono. There's a couple other ones on there that didn't make it to this vinyl pressing, and it turns out this was like a a first test pressing or something. So the actual vinyl will be released, and I already spent $60 on this, and it was advertised as the Carter 6. It was terrible marketing, terrible advertising. I'm not. That's all I'm gonna say about this album. I was pretty disappointed in it. It's still pretty cool, like the color of the vinyl and everything, but there were a lot of other politics going into it that I was pretty disappointed in. With not Lil Wayne, but his whatever marketing company or whatever. So that is everything I got, like, at my local record shop. Now we're moving on to everything that I got on my vacation in New Jersey. I'm gonna try and split it up. I'll probably just I know I only got 3 at one shop. Let me just figure this out real quick. Okay, so the first shop that I'm gonna talk about is called the Record Collector in Bordentown, New Jersey. I only got a few records here. It was a really good record shop. The only downside to it is everything was pretty much overpriced there. I looked on Discogs as I was, uploading everything to my account that I got, and everything that I bought, the 3 records that I bought, were overpriced by quite a bit, actually. And I noticed that even just like as I was in the record store shopping, that a lot of things were, even like some of the older albums that typically go for like $14-15 were still like almost $20. So I got this one, the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds. I listened to this actually on my way to New Jersey, so it was pretty cool to get an album that I had just listened to. I really liked it. I know it's one of their popular albums, and this was also a sealed album. It's a pretty thick, you can't really tell from the video here, but it's also a pretty thick and hefty vinyl record as well. So I was glad to add this to the collection from that store. I will also preface this because a lot of these other records are all Bob Dylan. Not all of them, but a good bit. And I'm so excited about this. But I got Empire Burlesque, I think is how you pronounce it. I could be incorrect on that. This was also at the Record Collector in Bordentown, New Jersey. And it has that, like, almost all of the records I have by Bob Dylan look exactly the same. It's a very thin record with the Columbia record kind of thing here, and then just like the red color in the middle. I don't know why the glare is so terrible. Let me try and move the lighting. I don't know if that helped or not, made it worse. But yeah, I was super excited to get this one. I love almost all of Bob Dylan's album. There's not a bad album out there by him, but there's some songs on here that I really like. Next one is actually an album that I don't think that I've listened to before by Bob Dylan. It's called Planet Waves, and it has a similar art style to Self Portrait, and I don't know if it's like a variation. I have to look into it. But yeah, I got this one, same, like red, middle there, thin record. This was one that I way overpaid for. This one goes for like $4 on Discogs, and I paid like $15 for it. And the other downside to the Bordentown record shop is all the records came with like the protective cover, like this plastic outside cover. But for some reason, the price tag was on the actual cover art, and it like pretty much ruined the cover art in the top corner there. You can see it, and I was trying my best to be like super gentle with it, but yeah, it just kind of messed up the cover art, which I don't care. I'm not really planning on selling them right now. But yeah, that is the last of what I got at the Bordentown record shop, the Record Collector. The rest of what I have about 6 or 7 here, are from one of the biggest record exchanges in the country, I believe. That's what it says on their Instagram. And it is called the Princeton Record Exchange. And when I tell you, I've never walked into a store with so many records. They have DVDs, they have cassettes, they have all types of CDs, like literally any form of media in general. They have it there. It was really, really cool. One thing that blew my mind is they had records, like albums that dropped that week, Like they had Lord's Virgin album that came out. I really liked that album. They had that, and it was like buried in with other older Lord records. It wasn't even like advertised, you know how like the new records are usually up in the front. They were just like already buried in there. And I was like, that is pretty cool to me that they have like brand new records, like just kind of not advertised in the front, but like where they're supposed to be. We're gonna start off a little light here. I got 3 records here that I only paid $1 for. I checked them. They look pretty good. They'll definitely need to be cleaned. But I got this Doobie Brothers album. I don't know what it's called. I think Too Loose Street, I think is what it's called. I only know one song, which is Listen to the Music. I actually also just heard that song for the first time right before I left for vacation. The cover art, again, on these $1 records, the sticker was right on the cover art, even though, you know, they had the sleeve on them. So it completely ruined the top corner there. But this is a really old looking vinyl. I would show you, it's actually a gatefold, even though it's just one record. But there's nudity in the gatefold. That's not why I got it. I got it because I liked the music. But yeah, it's a cool record to have, even though it's kind of like on the older side, pretty worn. But I think with like a good cleaning, it should still sound good on the record player. The next one that I have is, actually, I'm not even sure what album it is, but it is just a record with a sleeve. It didn't have the cover art or anything with it. That's why it was $1. They actually had a lot of these by Wyclef Jean. But this is, let's see, it's at least 6 songs of actually like instrumentals, acapellas and stuff. I guess this might be for like DJing or something, I'm not sure. But it's Wyclef Jean. I just thought it was pretty cool. I like his music. He's an older rapper. He's been around for a while. And then this last, like, not super special album, but still really cool to have in the collection. My dad wanted me to get it. He found it also in the dollar section. Is the Fantastic Phillies, narrated by Harry Callis. This is from the 1980 championship season. So it's just all the, like, I guess radio talk audio, like commentary clips just compiled onto an album. There's no music, I don't think, on this. It's just all commentary from the season, which I think is pretty cool. We went to a Philadelphia Phillies game when we were in New Jersey, so it was only right that I got this. Next up is an album that I've wanted since the album dropped, but I'm glad I waited because I got a really good price for it. Cheaper than it would have been if I had bought it even right away off Spotify with all the shipping and stuff. I've learned a lot since starting collecting records that buying straight from Spotify sometimes is not always the best thing. You can wait a little bit because the shipping is gonna just ruin you. The shipping and taxes and all that add up really quick when you're buying straight from Spotify. But if you just wait and go to like a record store, it's a lot better. You're not paying shipping or anything. But we have Denzel Curry's brand new album. It was pressed, I think it says on the back here, in Nashville, Tennessee, which is really cool. This is one of my favorite albums from him. It was kind of a low-key album drop as well. Not a lot of promotion, I feel like, went into it, other than one song that was just promoted like crazy around the time of this dropping. I can make money. I can make money. I could make money from the comfort of my sofa. So much drive, hey, so much. Just like that song right there. It was just that clip that I saw being promoted all over the place. But yeah, I'm so happy that I got this. I've been wanting it ever since it dropped. I was curious because it was also an unopened vinyl. It was still sealed. I was curious what color it would be because I know there's a lot of variations out there. But it is the standard black, and I think that's probably the best way to go, as it kind of matches the cover art and everything. Also, the Mexican OT went crazy on his verse. He was my favorite feature on that album. Now we're going back to a lot of Bob Dylan here. We have Bob Dylan. I think it's just his self-titled album, Bob Dylan. This was one of his earlier albums. It has the song, if you have watched the, it's not a documentary, it's not a, I guess it's a biopic with Timothy Chalamet. There's the song that he sings to Woody Guthrie in that song in that movie on this album. There's a bunch of good ones on here. Definitely and you can tell it was recorded a long time ago. But I was also happy because this was unopened. I think a couple of the ones that I got at this specific store in Princeton, New Jersey, were unopened, so that it's not like an older album. It's a newer pressing of it, which is why it was probably a little bit cheaper, because I have paid a lot more for some Bob Dylan records that I have. But I don't care if they're new or old. I just want a Bob Dylan record. Next up, we have The Times They Are Changin' by Bob Dylan. Honestly, I've rated a lot of Bob Dylan albums. This is the one that sticks out the most to me so far. I've listened to almost all of his actual albums. I've kind of gone in now and listening to the live recorded albums. But this one is the one I think I gave a 5 out of 5 star rating on. And this is also, the Columbia record, slightly different because it's a newer pressing. It's a little heftier as well. It's not as thin as some of his other records. But just a bunch of really good songwriting on this. I'm glad to have that in the collection. I'm going to go ahead and do the last Bob Dylan record that I got, which is his gospel album, Slow Train Comin'. This is also one, I'd almost give it a 5 out of 5, but I think I'm sitting around a 4.5 out of 5 on this one. But just every single song, there's so many good ones. Even on just side one, Slow Train, I Believe in You, You Gotta Serve Somebody. Gotta Serve Somebody is my favorite on this entire vibe right here. Him doing gospel, but still keeping that authentic Bob Dylan sound is really cool. I'm glad I got this. This is also an unopened vinyl. It was sealed, so it's a newer one. It's not an older pressing of it. But I paid about $20 for each of these, which is a pretty good deal, I feel like. Because I think the most I paid for a Bob Dylan record, which is the Free Will and Bob Dylan, I think that was $70 or $80 for a record, which is crazy. That's probably the most I've spent on a record, I think. And this last one is, as much as I like the Bob Dylan records I got, this is probably the most special to me because it is such a crazy find, in my opinion. But it is Forever How Long by Black Country New Road. This is one of my favorite albums that have dropped this year, if you want to go secular music wise. I don't know why the glare is so bad, but it's a alternate cover art. The original is red, same guy on the front, but it's red, and it's a blue pressing as well. I paid $33 for this, and that is an insane deal. If you look at Discogs, what this goes for, $33 is not terrible at all. And another unique thing about this is the actual cover. I actually just watched Anthony Fantano open his version of this album. He got the original cover art, so it's the same album, just the actual cover art. But it feels like an actual painting. You don't feel the texture of the oil paint, but it's just a weird I've never had a cover on a vinyl record that feels like this before. So it's really cool to have. It says right here 140 gram. Yeah, it's a limited indie exclusive edition, and the reason I found this to be such a good find as well is it's a UK exclusive, I'm pretty sure. And when this album dropped, I was like, I am copping that album. And then I looked on their website. It ships from the UK. The shipping was absolutely crazy, and the vinyl itself was already $70. I was like, ain't no way I'm doing that. Even though it's a fire album, I just can't do that. So to find this, especially the exclusive edition, which is the alternate cover art, the blue vinyl, it's a double vinyl, for 33 bucks was not bad, and I was very happy with that purchase. I recommend all those albums to you guys if you want to go listen to them. If you haven't heard any of them, I highly recommend you go do that. But yeah, that is my June, everything I got in June for vinyls. And I should have probably not that many records this month, but there is a record exchange show here in Tennessee where I live, and that will be towards the end of July, so I should get some records there as well. It's like a show where you have to buy a ticket, and then just a bunch of record stores from across the country come, and it's basically like a garage sale but for vinyl records. So that should be pretty cool. I will be getting some stuff there, hopefully. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Go be fruitful. Let's go.